Chapter 1. Lisa was sitting by the window on a bus. She was travelling to Scotland to stay with the McGregor family. She wanted to practice her English. She was enjoying the bus journey because she could take lots of photographs. The McGregor family were waiting for Lisa at the Buchanan Street bus station in Glasgow.
"The bus will be on time,"
said Rory.
"I asked at the information desk."
"That's good,"
said Mrs. McGregor.
"That means it will arrive at any moment." "Poor Lisa,"
said Sheena.
"she must be very tired after that long trip."
"She can sleep in the car,"
said Mr. McGregor.
"I don't think so.
Said Mrs. McGregor.
Not if Sheena and Rory are noisy." "Oh, come on, Mum,"
said Sheena.
"we're not that bad."
Look, there's the bus,"
said Rory, and he pointed at it. Lisa was a little nervous because she didn't know the McGregors. She saw a man. He was wearing a kilt. He was standing next to a woman and two teenagers.
"They're the McGregors,"
she thought. Lisa got off the bus and smiled at the McGregors.
"Are you the McGregor family?"
she asked.
"I'm Lisa. I'm very pleased to meet you."
"How are you, Lisa? I'm Rory McGregor."
said Rory and held out his hand to Lisa.
"This is my sister Sheena, and these are our parents. I suppose you think Dad's kilt is funny,"
he added and laughed. Lisa relaxed. She liked the McGregors.
"Hello, Rory and Sheena. How do you do, Mr. and Mrs. McGregor?"
asked Lisa.
"Fine, thank you, Lisa,"
said Mr. McGregor.
"Fine, dear, and welcome to Scotland."
said Mrs. McGregor.
"Did you have a nice trip?"
"Yes, it was great.
said Lisa.
I like the Scottish countryside."
"That's good, because we have a surprise for you,"
said Mr. McGregor.
"A nice surprise."
said Sheena and smiled at Lisa.
"We're going to Loch Ness."
"Loch Ness?"
asked Lisa.
"It's the most beautiful loch in Scotland,"
answered Rory.
"Loch? But what is a loch?"
asked Lisa.
"Oh, I'm sorry.
Answered Rory.
Loch is the Scottish word for lake."
"That's right.
Said Sheena.
And we're going there for 2 weeks. We rented a cottage on the bank of the loch.
Said Mrs. McGregor.
We're all going to have a wonderful time there."
"It sounds great.
Said Lisa and smiled.
I can take lots of photographs."
"You've got a very good camera."
Said Mr. McGregor.
"Do you like photography?"
"I love it.
Said Lisa excitedly.
It's my favourite hobby, and I love this camera too. I won it in a short story competition some years ago."
"Lucky you."
Said Rory.
"Come on now, let's get going.
Said Mrs. McGregor.
We have a long drive ahead of us."
They all got into the car.
"It's my turn to drive."
Said Mrs. McGregor and sat in the driver's seat.
They look like a very nice family.
Thought Lisa, and made herself comfortable in the back seat with Sheena and Rory. Chapter 2. The McGregors and Lisa finally arrived at the cottage late in the evening. It was just beginning to get dark. The cottage was by the side of the loch.
"Maybe we'll see Nessie now."
Said Sheena.
Nessie?
Asked Lisa.
Who's Nessie?
"It's the Loch Ness monster."
Answered Rory.
"Haven't you heard of it?"
I think I've read about it.
Answered Lisa.
Does it really exist?
"Of course it does."
Answered Rory.
"Don't mind Rory.
Said Mrs. McGregor.
Nobody knows if Nessie exists or not. Anyway, it's late. Let's carry the luggage into the house and make our beds."
A monster?
Thought Lisa.
That's really interesting. If it really exists, I can take a photograph of it.
Everybody was tired after the long journey. Mrs. McGregor made some sandwiches and they ate them before they went to bed. Lisa was excited about the monster, but she fell asleep immediately. Lisa's room was at the front of the house and had a view of the loch. When she woke up the next morning, she looked out of the window.
If there really is a monster,
She thought to herself.
I'm going to get a photograph of the monster to take home with me.
Lisa felt hungry. She got dressed and went downstairs to the kitchen. The McGregors were eating their breakfast.
Good morning, Lisa.
Said Mrs. McGregor.
Did you sleep well?
Yes, thank you very much.
Answered Lisa.
And I'm looking forward to breakfast. What's that?
She asked and pointed at Mrs. McGregor's plate.
Ugh, it's porridge.
Said Sheena.
It's supposed to be good for you. I think it's awful.
I love it.
Said Rory.
It's a traditional Scottish breakfast dish.
Try some.
Said Mrs. McGregor and gave Lisa some porridge.
You must add milk and sugar.
Said Rory. Lisa did that and started eating.
It's a little strange,
She said.
but I think I like it.
See?
Said Rory to Sheena.
Other people like it too.
I don't care.
Answered Sheena.
I won't eat it. OK, that's enough.
Said Mrs. McGregor.
What are you going to do today? I'd like to explore the place a little.
Said Sheena.
What's this place called, Dad?
Loch Ness, silly.
Said Rory.
I know that.
Said Sheena.
I'm talking about this area.
Well, the nearest village is Drumnadrochit. It is about 1.5 miles away. That's about 2.5 kilometres.
Said Mr. McGregor.
And listen to this. There are some bicycles in the shed at the back of the house. You can use them.
Good. It will be easier to explore with a bicycle.
Said Rory.
Let's meet back here for lunch at about 1 o'clock.
Said Mrs. McGregor.
We will have enough time to explore until then.
Chapter 3. Lisa and Sheena went into the garden together.
I would like to take a photograph of Nessie.
Said Lisa with a smile.
Great idea.
Said Sheena.
But we don't know anything about Nessie.
Well,
Said Lisa.
if we go to the village, maybe we could ask somebody.
Let's get a couple of bicycles and go.
Said Sheena. Lisa and Sheena went into the shed. Rory was already there.
The bicycles are great,
He said.
but you will have to put some air in the tyres. See you later.
He jumped on his bicycle and rode off.
He's in a hurry.
Said Lisa.
What did he mean about air in the tyres?
Sheena looked at the bicycles. Their tyres were flat.
Look, there's a pump. Let's put some air in the tyres.
After a few minutes, the two girls were ready to go. They went out onto the road.
Which way is the village?
Asked Lisa.
Oh, silly me.
Said Sheena.
I don't know.
Just then, Mr. McGregor came out of the front door.
Dad,
Shouted Sheena.
we want to go to the village. Which way is it?
That way to your left.
Said Mr. McGregor.
Be careful of the traffic.
He called out after them. It was a nice day for a bicycle ride. The sun was shining and the water in the loch sparkled.
Look,
Said Lisa as they turned a corner in the road.
some people are windsurfing.
Brr,
Said Sheena.
I wouldn't like to do that.
Why not?
Asked Lisa.
It's fun.
Yes, I know,
Answered Sheena.
but Loch Ness is very cold and very dark. I wouldn't like to swim in it.
Maybe you're right.
Agreed Lisa.
Anyway, there's the village, Drumnadrochit. What a strange name. What does it mean?
Laughed Sheena at Lisa's pronunciation.
It's a Gaelic name.
She said.
It means the bridge on the ridge.
Gaelic?
asked Lisa.
What's that?
It's the original language of Scotland.
Answered Sheena.
Doesn't everybody speak English in Scotland?
Asked Lisa.
Yes,
Said Sheena.
but some people also speak Gaelic, mostly in the north and on the islands.
That's very interesting.
Said Lisa.
Come on, let's go.
Said Sheena. She rode across the bridge and down the hill towards the village. Lisa followed her.
Scotland really is a different country.
Thought Lisa.
They wear kilts, they eat porridge, and they have another language.
Chapter 4. While Lisa and Sheena were riding their bicycles around the village, they saw Rory. He was sitting on the ground beside his bicycle.
What's wrong?
Asked Lisa.
I rode over some glass,
Answered Rory.
and now I've got a flat tyre.
Oh dear.
Said Lisa.
Now you'll have to push the bicycle home.
Yes,
Said Rory.
but not yet. Look,
He pointed behind the two girls.
it's a Loch Ness monster exhibition.
Wow! Is that Nessie?
Asked Lisa. She was looking at a creature. It looked like a huge mechanical toy, and it was sitting in a small pool of water.
Yes, in a duck pond.
Laughed Rory.
It's so scary.
Very funny.
Said Sheena.
Yes.
Said Lisa.
Imagine that it is dark and you're alone. You're walking along the lake and you see something like that.
Continued Lisa, pointing at the mechanical monster.
And it's moving towards you.
Said Sheena.
Okay,
Said Rory.
I get the picture. Let's go and see the exhibition.
An hour later, the two girls and Rory walked out of the exhibition.
That was really interesting.
Said Lisa as she got on her bicycle. Rory walked off with his bicycle without saying anything.
Yes, it was.
Agreed Sheena.
I didn't know any of the things we have just learnt. I really believe that Nessie was a joke.
I think some of the stories are jokes.
Said Lisa.
That's the problem. But Arthur Grant's story doesn't sound like a joke.
Continued Lisa.
No, it doesn't.
Agreed Sheena.
My dad knows a lot more about Nessie and Arthur Grant. We could ask him when we get home. Look at the time. Lunch will be ready soon. Let's go.
The two girls started pedalling hard. They wanted to get as far up the hill as they could without walking. Sheena and Lisa arrived home just as Mrs. McGregor was putting lunch on the table. Rory was already there.
How did you get here?
Asked Sheena.
Nessie gave me a ride on her back.
Answered Rory.
She's very fast.
Very funny.
Said Sheena.
Rory the comedian. Ignore him.
Said Mrs. McGregor.
I brought him back. I met him while I was shopping in the village. We saw you and we waved, but you didn't see us.
No, they didn't.
Laughed Rory.
They were looking for Nessie.
That's enough joking for now.
Said Mr. McGregor.